Everybody, welcome. X's and Knowles presented by Knowles247.com. Trey Roll and Kevin Little. Adam Brown is dealing with a blizzard and a power outage. We pray for our frosty friend. He's doing fine, though. We missed him. Guys, we're going to talk about Florida State's linebacker room. One that before the 2025 season, there was a lot of confidence from the coaching staff and all of the comments coming out of fall camp. They were wrong. The room played really bad, got exposed in that Virginia game and never really recovered. A lot of new look, a lot of new faces. Florida State adds two guys from the transfer portal. We're going to be talking about them both. That's USM, Southern Miss linebacker Chris Jones, and mikai Byer, North Carolina linebacker, who used to play with Tony White and the kids back at Nebraska. That's who they added. Florida State loses Juice Cryer to Texas in the transfer portal. So there's a lot of shifting around. Kev, right before we get to the film, we're going to look at Jones first, then Byer. Florida State's linebackers last year, liability, as they have been for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say two things. I think it's fair to say that the linebackers were not good last year. I mean, if you look at the coverage stats of all of the linebackers, they're all consistently just getting torched. Basically every one of them. And in the run game, they weren't giving a ton. There were lots of times where, any number of linebackers would be slow to trigger, would catch blocks, and that would really sell the secondary down the river. Mm-hmm. What's also true is that the linebackers were in coverage for entirely too long because you had no pass rush. And any linebacker, when put on a running back for 4 or 5 seconds, is going to lose, and you're going to be in trouble. And so there's some debate. There's some question of like, how much are those coverage numbers due to a bad pass rush that means that the linebackers are in coverage for forever, and how much of that is because of both, because they're just not good in coverage, they weren't coached well. Right. I'm inclined to believe that it was enough of both to be as bad as they were last year.
And I think you're right, obviously, too, when you have that lack of pass rush, you got to scheme the linebackers in those kind of like the exotic blitz scheme game. You had some guys with kind of undeveloped skill sets, like a guy like a Blake Nicholson who is athletic, and they had to kind of piece together these different skill sets to make a functional room. I think they largely failed. Unfortunately, I do think that they're probably going to have to deal with the lack of pass rush issue again. Who knows? You got Kevin Wynn, you got the Desirs with another year of development, the kid from Texas A&M, he's allowed to get better. With any sort of semblance of a pass rush, it would be nice on this second level. I do think I want to watch the film, but a lot of the issues that we saw were, like you said, Kev, like the Elijah Herrings and the lack of triggering and the lack of physicality. Hopefully, mikai Byer, who has played with Tony White's scheme, Chris Jones, who is a productive linebacker at USM. I'm interested to watch the film, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on physicality. I'd like these guys. I'd like Florida State to be a little less porous in the run defense game. They're going to have to be. Let's see what we got. Chris Jones first from Southern Miss.
Yeah, so we got to go back to Elijah Herring at some point and kind of reevaluate that because we really liked his film.
Yeah.
But I think we felt like he was more of a true pass rusher, and they put him as
he never looked comfortable the entire year, so just misused. And I don't know if that was
part
not
of true
scheme.
Pass rusher, but like kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%. He was asked to do a lot of. He was asked to do a lot of things that he didn't look comfortable doing, and he wasn't particularly good at. What is Chris's number here?
So he's 35. He's this linebacker here. So you're getting someone that's played in an odd front before, someone that's kind of played one of these middle linebackers, which I expect him to be asked to do at Florida State. And he was a tackle magnet at Southern Miss. So here he's just kind of his double team gets pushed back into him. He's trying to maintain whatever gap he's got up in here. So it's not his job to flow necessarily. But
that happened to Florida State's linebackers a lot last year. Blocks getting pushed up into them. They weren't really protected by that defensive line too much. And once again, you're not going to have a Darrell Jackson on the team this year. So that'll be interesting. So there he is, blitzing. What do you think of the athleticism there?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I'm not even from, I've got the master copy here. It's kind of, I'm not sure if that was even him. It's hard to gauge the numbers off of this
Off this view. Yeah.
Yeah, off the Southern Miss film that we're getting. So 17 here's in the middle of the field. So he's here. This is him.
6'2", 230.
6'2", 230.
That's what he's listed at on 24/7. There he is in coverage.
Yeah, he looks all right.
Yeah.
You know, we're not seeing much.
Nobody's in his zone. He's going to be playing some zone at FSU.
All right, so he's kind of consistently playing field linebacker. So here he is. Not seeing. It's not bad coverage. He's just kind of spot dropping, doing what he's asked to do. All right, so here he is on the edge here.
So doing some different stuff already. Okay, good contact there. Like how he blows up that block.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's aggressive. He's not afraid to take on a wide receiver with motion coming in with some momentum. I'm gonna skip to
we saw too many times too where a lot of reasons plays didn't work, Kev, is because our linebackers wouldn't make the play ugly and would like hop around the blocks. It was like, man, just hit the dude, mess up the hole, and make the play bounce, and you give you enough guys there to kind of gang tackle. So he's willing to put his nose in it.
30. Gosh, it's really hard to tell who these guys are.
Let's see there. I think that might be him making the tackle.
Yeah, that's my best guess too. But can't see his number.
Taking on a block. Really fun angle for analysts right here. Very hard to identify.
Yeah, so he's got the black socks on. Yep. So
oh, there you go.
That'll help us identify him later on.
Okay, sheds a block right there.
Sheds a block. He does look a little undersized.
Yeah, even in comparison to the dudes he's playing linebacker with on USM, right?
Yeah, he's fairly agile. He's moving pretty well, but all right, now we've got 3 linebackers with black socks. He's dropping in coverage.
When you see a linebacker drop into coverage, Kev, what are you looking for? What are you looking for him to identify people coming into a zone? Are you looking at the fluidity of the drop? What really stands out to you?
Yeah, that's really kind of a more complicated question than is easy to answer.
That you expected from me.
Sometimes they're taught to keep their eyes on the quarterback and drop to a spot, right? So
right.
Whether or not they're tracking routes, following routes, that's when you get into like zone match principles, and that kind of changes team to team depending on what you're talking about. So really, when you're looking at film like this, you don't know what play they're calling. You don't know what his responsibility is, but you'd like to see that they can get depth quickly, that they can turn their hips pretty fluidly and run.
Does Tony White believe in more of like a true spot drop, or does he like to match? What did you see at least last year when he was at Florida State?
Yeah, very very little matching. So So when people talked about Adam Fuller, and everybody said, "Oh, he doesn't run any zone coverage," that's not necessarily true. It's just kind of where you want to draw the line of what zone coverage is. So Adam Fuller didn't run hardly any spot drop zone. There's 35. Is he playing nickel? What is he doing? Is that him?
I wonder if they have like a running back like out there. Yeah, there he is out there on the sideline or something.
So this is him. So now we can kind of see him turn, hips, run. He keeps up with the running back in space. He's got good hip height, just based off that clip. Very blurry clip, but the fact that he's man up on this is a matchup that they're hunting for, right? This is a very common thing you'll see. People go empty. They put the running back out wide. It's a very easy tell that you've got man coverage because now you've got the linebacker on the running back, a place a linebacker traditionally wouldn't be. So that's an easy matchup. Going for it, take the shot, and he does a good job keeping up with the back.
Yeah, I mean, you're comfortable in space. That's a ton of space for a linebacker to have to cover.
Yeah, so he seems like maybe they got called for PI. So here we go,
There he is, right
35.
there.
Yeah, he gets in there. That's his gap. He sees his guy going this way, so he's going to fall back into this empty space. So he's there where he's supposed to be, clogs up that gap. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He looks kind of comfortable. The physicality. I mean, he took on that block pretty well. Let's see him here. Let's see what he does in this clip.
he's blitzing.
Yeah, doesn't quite get there.
Here he is. I mean, he's in the right spot. He sees run. He fills the gap. He's got like monster tackle numbers on the season, so it's kind of interesting. We haven't really seen him make a solo tackle. But I mean, here he is.
Oh, that's a good. Okay, tries to knife through the block there.
Yeah, so he kind of reads this tackle that's eyes are inside. This is his gap responsibility. He's going to get around him instead of taking him on, which works sometimes. He's able to get up, make the tackle.
Yeah, gets skinny in the hole, kind of like a running back. Does like a little jump cut to try to get to the guy.
Yeah, I think what we're hoping you get out of someone like this, out of a Chris Jones, is you're looking at a profile kind of like Tatum Bethune, right? You're looking at someone who moves pretty well. Maybe his, man,
you had a shot at him, brother.
Blows up a center. That's good. He gets kind of held here. Misses the tackle, but still blows up the play.
Messes the play up. Physicality, that's what we were looking for. He seems to be in the right spot. Like, he knows what he's doing. He looks natural at this position, which I can't say for a lot of guys in that linebacker room last year, right?
Right. I think he looks natural on the second level. He knows where his gaps are. He fills them well. He's not afraid to take people on head on, right? He moves well enough. I think he's pretty agile. He's kind of dense, right? So
yes.
I think Tatum Bethune is the comp you're looking for. You're looking for someone who can come in and kind of be a stabilizing force for a linebacker room. Maybe he's not someone that's going to, make the elite plays. I mean, here's a great play, right?
That is a good play.
This plays against any guard, right? He takes on a guard's outside shoulder. He turns the running back inside, and then he spins.
Yeah, that's great effort, man. That's good. That's good. I like to see that. You did not see that at all last year. So there you go. Just can't quite get to him. Gets a little mucked up in the middle. So I think what you see, physical.
Well, I don't think this is his fault, but
no, I don't think so either. But I think from what I see from the film, physical, stabilizing presence, veteran. He's played a lot of football, productive at this level, knows where to be. As far as like the athleticism, I think that's where like just like the raw speed and stuff like that. And then the size, I think that's probably why he's graded at what he's graded, which I think is like, 86, 87. So kind of like solidly like 3-star transfer. But this is a good pickup, dude. He's doing a lot of different stuff. Yeah, that's great. The disengaging of the block. I love to see that. I like it, man. This is good. Florida, they needed a guy like this in the linebacker room.
No, I think I tend to agree. I think that I think you pulled in a freshman, Isaiah Williams, that's got a pretty high end athletically. I think you have a couple other guys in that room that have an athletic profile, like Blake Nicholson has a high potential to be a very athletic linebacker for you. But what you really have been missing is that Tatum Bethune presence, that guy who's just in the middle of the field that you can trust is always in the right place, that fills the gap, that makes the running back take that one extra cut. Is this guy gonna, make you a top 10 defense? No. Is he gonna single-handedly win games? No. But is he gonna be a stabilizing force? Is he gonna be something that, turns a 3 or 4 yard gain on first down into a 1 or 2 yard gain? Potentially, and that's huge for a defense that could not find its footing last year,
especially one that gave up such a high success rate, right? They had so many manageable second and third downs against them. This is good. Ideally, you would like to pair a guy like a Chris Jones with years upon years of stacking like elite level high school talent to have like that nice mix, right? That the Tatum Bethune had that nice Kalen DeLoach mix, that really like that highly recruited, like athletic linebacker next to him.
Yeah, someone that could run the field completely. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like that makes a nice pairing. Florida State has that in Isaiah Williams, but super talented true freshman coming off an injury. I don't know. This is where that made the years of compounded middling recruiting at linebacker may catch up with FSU. But in a vacuum, nice pickup. I like what he does. He's where he's supposed to be. He hits the gap hard. He messes up the play. He makes it bounce. He allows time for his guys to gang tackle. And there's so many times during film review, like, dude, just hit the guy. Even if you're not making the tackle, screw up the play, screw up the spacing, screw up the timing. Jones is going to do that. At least it looks like from this film. Let's take a look at Kai Byer. He got to play with, he got the full Belichick last year, the Belichick Hudson experience.
Greatest defensive coach of our lifetime, you know?
So good for him. He actually may be the one player going to a less dysfunctional environment from where he came from going to Florida State.
So what's his high weight numbers?
He's 6'2", 230.
Okay, so he looks more the part. So he looks more like what you're wanting in a like high end Power 5 like guy that's potentially draftable.
Number 4, right?
All right. So so he's 4. He's right here.
Sleeved up.
I just watched some old Jimbo film, the Orange Bowl, and and I was just like, all the linebackers were 6'3", 220, 230 pounds. They look like thick safeties out there, and so this is kind of more that build. So I know, the Jones might fall into more of the Randy Shannon special.
He does look the type, right? Lower center of gravity, stout,
right? Which is fine. Like I think there's actually a place for that. I think good defenses have guys like that. You have Tatum Bethune out here, who can't be 6'1", and he's doing well in the NFL, because he knows where to be. He hits people. Like at the end of the day, that one or two extra inches doesn't really change all that much for a linebacker, but it can make that ceiling higher. So we'll kind of see how he looks.
If you can read the play positioning at linebacker, like if you know where to be, like it makes you look a lot faster than you are. There you go. There you go. First play.
Yeah. So there's a blitz. He's got to come in, fill this gap. He manages to.
I'd like to see him get a little bit more downhill, right?
Yeah. I mean, he keeps square, which is good. He positions downhill. He kind of gets lucky that this guard that his tackle here wins, and the guard has to double team here so he can get up into this hole. Because otherwise, he's getting met downfield. So you'd like to see a little bit more aggression from him, but first play looked all right.
Makes the tackle. And this is funny because they're playing Virginia, which is a team that kind of laid the blueprint to expose Florida State's defense on that Friday night game. It really was all downhill for us after that one.
Right. So here's another example of, all right, so he sees this double team. You see the mesh. I would like for him to, instead of staying even here, to kind of hit this a little bit harder. He catches it a little bit. Still a pretty good job moving up in the hole, recognizing his run. You don't want to sprint here, right? That's where you just get killed with RPOs, but you'd like to see that fill a little bit faster.
Okay.
But still a pretty good job. He moves up, up to him pretty well.
Taking on the offensive lineman. You like to see that.
We're splitting hairs a little bit there.
That's all right. That's what we do, man. That's what the people want to see.
So here he is. Keeping his eye on the quarterback. He kind of moves up as the quarterback moves back. That's pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, I want to see him moving around in space a little bit.
Yeah, some of the spot drop stuff for linebackers, they don't really do a ton.
Yeah, just kind of run back and forth a little bit. Oh, he's covering a lot of ground there. Oh,
yeah, so this is what you see. You see the top end athleticism that maybe Jones doesn't have, but right, he's back, eyes on the quarterback, does a good job. Quarterback shoulders go this way, he drifts this way. All right, he fakes. Now this is what I want to see. how quickly can he make this turn? It's an important turn. I mean, that's really solid for for a linebacker. He's got long strides, makes up a lot of space. But I think he over pursues slightly here. So I do get the impression the downside, right? So
Yes.
we talked about Chris Jones' downside of potentially not being able to like be that game changer that goes out and makes a play on the perimeter or wherever starting in the box. This is kind of a little bit. This is a little. He's supposed to keep track here. I assume this is his gap. It looks gapped up here. Right, this guy's trying to win outside. He's gapped here. He's gapped here. He's trying to kind of skirt by that.
Yeah, we know this. Yeah, we know this. We saw a lot of this from Florida State's linebackers last year, right?
Yeah, and that's just what you do to over-aggressive linebackers, right? You run outside zone and you hit that cutback. And he's over-pursuing hard, which just allows... And he's not the only one.
Do you like where UNC has this guy positioned, like with his athleticism, kind of playing in the middle of the field? It'll be interesting to see him. It's funny that they picked these two linebackers to be running mates because it really is kind of like a yin and yang type deal.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, that's standard. Better. That's better, right?
So here he is filling through this hole. Yep. Stays a little bit more patient. Keeps his hips square while still moving into the gap.
He almost overruns it though, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. No,
but better.
I think this is the mold that people are looking for right now with kind of these interior backers. That's what the NFL is looking for. It's what people want, right? They want a little bit more speed, a little bit more length, a little bit more athleticism, right? Remember in the last clip when Chris Jones was put out on the edge and had to one-on-one on running back in space. That's why you want someone that's 6'2", that's a little bit more built like a safety. He's probably similar weight to Jones, but he's taller. So
I think they weigh the exact. Their listed weight is the exact same, but he's got him by a couple inches, and you can tell from the film, right?
Right, and so he's going to run better in coverage. He's going to be a bigger presence, when he's in that spot drop zone. He's got that extra length that can tip passes. That's kind of what people are looking for. And so it's kind of one of those situations where you take, if you think about like high school basketball, like the tallest guy on the team is 6'2", and he should be a point guard, but he's having to play center because that's just what you do now.
Right.
And so, yeah, he's a little bit like built like a safety, but having to play linebacker, like having to be in the box because that's just where you put these guys now, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because we saw Jones on some blitzing reps too. He was really good at disengaging with the offensive lineman. Didn't see that there. He gets stuffed by the block. I mean, it is linebacker versus lineman. It is what it is. I don't know if he's on the field.
Yeah, he's off the field at this point.
Yeah, he's off the field. Moves well as a physical presence. You got to watch out. May can sometimes maybe be a victim of his own movement skills sometimes. But interesting. It's going to be an interesting pairing at linebacker.
It looks like they've gone dime and they've taken him out. They put an extra DB on the field.
What do you think about Byer's ability to maybe be involved with some like pass rush games, maybe throwing him on the edge a little bit, like kind of the stuff they tried to do with Blake Nicholson last year? Do you think he can be a factor in kind of trying to help generate a pass rush for this Florida State defense?
It's kind of interesting because we saw that with Jones, right? Him lining up as a pass rusher, but we haven't seen that with someone who you'd think would be
has a more natural build for it, right?
Right. The longer wingspan and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. Yeah. After how they used Elijah Herring last year, it's like anybody's guess to what they're going to do with these guys.
That's a great point. What do you think about the takes so far? What do you think about these two takes? You lose, I guess. What do you think about FSU's linebacker room now? You keep Nicholson. Omar Graham flirts with the portal, comes back, and then Cryer leaves, and you replace him with I think they lose like a freshman, like a Jaden Parrish to Memphis or whatever, but he was a non-factor. And you replace him with Byer, and you replace him with Chris Jones. Does Florida State's linebacker room have the? It was bad last year. Does it have? Do we expect it to be better this year? What do you think about the additions and the subtraction?
I would say it should be better.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I think Chris Jones alone creates a stabilizing force you didn't have last year. I mean, and that linebacker room was bad.
Yeah.
And so, I would say that linebacker room last year was probably like a C-, right? D+, right?
Sure.
Not a good unit. I would say if you were able to keep Juice and add these guys, we're talking about like a B unit. Depending on how if Isaiah Williams is healthy and he looks the part and he looks every bit as good as he did in his high school tape, his junior tape, then, maybe you're thinking, oh, he could get some reps behind these guys, get in there. Maybe Blake Nicholson starts to come along because he can have a little bit more space, and maybe you're talking about a B+ group. But I'm going to knock it down a peg because of losing.
Sure.
It's a solid. It's going to be it's going to be like the rest of this roster. They've built a Power 5 roster, and that's about what I can say.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see Byer. He's got the familiarity with Tony White. They're familiar with each other. Maybe we'll be able to kind of unlock some of those physical capabilities. You can tell how much the roster valued Chris Jones, right? Chris Jones was going to go to Ole Miss, and then he comes to FSU. Like, they valued him. I think Florida State's coaches they intrinsically knew that they needed a veteran presence, a stabilizing presence, a guy that is going to be in the right place at the right time, do the dirty work, hit the guy, even if he's not making the tackle. And they've been missing that. So they valued that. And I think they got a very capable player in Jones. It'll be interesting to see how they mesh with Graham. Can you get an Isaiah Williams back and figure out how to use his like kind of tantalizing physical skill set coming back from injury? I think that they have some more pieces to play with this year. But what's really going to be telling is, even if the pieces are better, even if they're playing better, like Kevin said at the beginning of the video, if they can't get help from that defensive line, if that defensive line can't keep them clean, if they can't get a little bit of a pass rush,
all falls apart.
It really does, man. It really does. No matter, even if it's a better piece back there, when you got to cover that much time, when you got guards and tackles and centers on you at all times as a smaller guy, that's a tough ask, and it really wears on you over 4 quarters. So I'm positive. I like the takes. I like the takes. I'm interested to see what White can do with Byer, what kind of games. And I like Chris Jones, man. I like guys that just do their job. That's why I was so bummed when Randy Pittman left. I like guys that are dependable, they're physical, and they do their job. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see Chris Jones at Florida State. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I would add some context to this. I think they have the potential to be good players. I think they will improve your linebacker room. I think you're totally right. We saw it with Texas Tech this year. We saw it with Miami. Elite defensive lines make elite defenses. And so, I would say watching this film, these look like above average Power 5 linebackers, right? These guys are two guys I'd be happy with, if you're trying to compete for the top half of the ACC, right? These guys are solid Power 5 linebackers. I feel pretty confident in saying that. But one was on the 98th best defense in the country, and one was on the 78th best defense in the country last year. So it's like having these very capable players at the linebacker position is helpful. It's good. But you need a lot more to make a great defense. And so, not to be a bummer about this. I'm excited about the players. I think they're actually genuinely good takes on the defense.
They shored up the room. They shored up the room for sure.
This isn't a defensive end conversation, but to be honest, the further we get into understanding how college football works in the modern day, every defensive conversation needs to start being a defensive end conversation.
And guess what? the defensive line video is going to be coming. So we will be having a defensive end conversation. But you got to be subscribed to the channel. X's and Knowles, like, subscribe to see when that video comes out. Hit on Knowles247.com for the best analysis, the best info, and the most fun on the Florida State beat. Go to Knowles247.com, like and subscribe. Adam, stay warm. We missed you, buddy. We're going to be hitting you guys. We're still going to be going through some more transfer portal additions. Now that Florida State's roster for the year, there is only one transfer portal season. The roster is pretty much finalized. Now we can start getting into some deep analysis of that Florida State roster. Where do we think they improved from last year? What do we expect to see this year? The Florida State schedule's out. 3 Friday night games. Hooray. Thanks, ACC. Fun. There's a whole bunch of news dropping. And guys, the first time you can get it is if you subscribe to the channel and go to Knowles247.com. For Kevin, for a cold Adam Brown, I am Trey Rowland. We love you guys. Keep chopping.